Hello, friends. Welcome to 2025 and welcome to the I'm Bringing Healthy Back podcast. And if you're watching on YouTube, hello as well. This is the time where we all have to remember that we need to write 2025 instead of 2024, but we'll get there. And you may or may not have New Year's resolutions, New Year's goals, New Year's intentions, a word for 2025, and whether you do or you don't, that's absolutely okay. And I've never been one to have a New Year's resolution, but it is just one of those natural turnings of time where it's a new year and you kind of it's a natural point where you kind of rethink things. And maybe that's just a cultural thing, but we kind of do it every week. We have a weekly reset. We have the weekend, and then we have a new month. And so now we have a new year, and I have some fresh intentions, and I actually started acting upon them and thinking about them before the new year. I am someone who thinks there's never a wrong time to have a new resolution or a new intention or start a new habit or try new things and better yourself, improve yourself. And so I started before the new year. It was probably just a week or two. It might have been before Christmas. It might have been between Christmas and New Year. I don't exactly remember, but it just felt right. Sometimes change comes about naturally, or as you go through seasons of life, there's a natural inclination to you realize things, or you mature in a certain area and you turn over a new leaf, you pivot. And so I didn't search for a word for my 2025, but when I was writing out my intentions, putting it down on paper versus just having them in my mind so I could talk to you guys about it, my word for 2025 is consistency across the board. And I know I'm not going to be perfect, but I just want to improve. And that's something with your goals. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can strive for perfection, and that's okay. I'm looking for improvement and consistency. It doesn't have to be like pro level consistency, but it has to be at least consistency to some degree. And I don't know how I'm going to measure that. And I kind of do. Something I wrote down, this is a blank planner. I write in my dates because like yesterday, I didn't write anything in here. But I found I like writing to-do lists. And so before the new year, I remember I had it's like during my lunch hour at work or something. And I wrote down, then I was considering them my 2025 standards that I was setting for myself. And so I had daily, weekly, and monthly standards. And it kind of works together with my consistency because I'm like, every day, every week, and every month, this is what I want to do. These are my intentions. And so daily, spending time in my Bible. In the past several days, I've been spending time in a daily devotional that I have. So it hasn't been deep into God's word. Like I haven't been reading straight scripture, but there's still that time of reflection on God's word and life as a follower of Jesus. So I make a point to do that in the morning, but it doesn't have to be in the morning. Just once a day, spend some time with the Lord. And then daily is vacuum. And before the new year, or did it come? No, it was before the new year. I got a robot vacuum because, okay, hold on. Rewind. Vacuuming for me is vacuuming the couch because the dog is alone during the day and she's not in her kennel. And she lays on the couch and she sheds. And so I don't like sitting on the couch when it's full of fur because then I get fur on my clothes, and if I want to take an aesthetic picture for my Instagram story or something in the morning reading my Bible, I don't like there being a lot of dog fur on the couch on the background of the picture. So vacuuming the couch, a daily thing. And then Swiffering, a daily thing. So I have all hard floors in my house, and so I dry Swiffer, again, to get up all the dog's fur. And right before the new year, I ordered a robot vacuum. And Swiffering, I don't know, maybe takes 20 minutes. It's not a long time, but it's still time. And if I did a podcast on time blocking, on here she comes now. She just got a duck. It no longer squeaks because she chewed its face off. That's a story for another day. I did a podcast on, I had too many things on my plate, but I wasn't willing to take any of them off. And I've heard other entrepreneurs and just people in general saying, you can't make more time, but you can buy your time back. And so the point of buying a robot vacuum was to buy myself that 20 minutes a day where I could do a short workout, take a shower, film content, make dinner, clean and tidy, just 20 minutes to do something else. And that has been a big help. So daily now, it's not I have to spend the 20 minutes, it's just like press the button to go and then make sure it doesn't get stuck. So that's a daily thing. And then dishes. So I have a dishwasher. I use my dishwasher regularly, but I'm a person who, my wooden things don't go in the dishwasher. My reusable straws don't go in the dishwasher. My mason jar lids don't go in the dishwasher because they're the aluminum ones with the two-part lids. There are just some things that I don't put in the dishwasher. And so usually they would stay in the sink for a week, all week, and then maybe I would wash them on the weekend because there's like, oh, it's just a few things. They can just stay in there. And I just want to be more disciplined about put the dishes in the dishwasher and then just take the 5 minutes and wash the ones that don't go in the dishwasher. And so the past week or so, I've been doing that. And I did it tonight. It's a work week. It's a week. It's a school night. It's a school night. And the dishwasher's going, and I washed the handful of things that couldn't go in the dishwasher. Done did it. And then weekly, I want 3 workouts. I don't have a lot of time after work, before work. Before work, I take the dog for a WALK. After work, I have cleaning and putting stuff away and making. There's all those things. And yes, I do have time to squeeze in a workout. I could most days. But I'm also trying to prioritize sleep. So Saturday, Sunday, I can go to the gym, and I'd like to get at least 1 workout in during the week, if not 2. So very doable. Cleaning the bathroom weekly, changing my sheets weekly. I usually tend to change my sheets every other week because I'm usually a night showerer. So it's not like I'm super dirty going to bed. And then I don't make my bed. I leave my bed open so it can breathe during the day. So you don't have to agree with me, but that's just, so I'm going from every other week to once a week, changing the sheets. And then weekly, I want to get up 1 video or podcast for content. And this is now twofold because I have 2 channels / podcasts. I have I'm Bringing Healthy Back, which I do vlogs or I do podcasts. So at least 1 a week. And then I have the Recipes with Ray YouTube channel, which I cooking and baking. And then I do have the Recipes with Ray podcast, which I've been less consistent with just because it takes more energy for me to film those podcasts Whereas cooking and baking, I have to do it anyway. I like baking. I have to cook for myself anyway. So it works more that it's just documenting. And then for this channel or this podcast, it's vlogging is documenting. So that's a lot easier. It's not like I have to do a few hours of research. And then for the podcasts, I tend to talk about like what's important to me, my thoughts on or opinions on something related to health, wellness, disordered eating, body image, stuff like that. Stuff that I know I'm not an expert on, so I'm not doing research on it, but it might just be a 5-minute podcast or it might be a little bit longer here talking about my 2025 intentions. So at least one, because I know there's going to be some weeks where I'm busy or I'm out of town on the weekend. So at least one. Maybe it's a recipe, maybe it's a vlog, maybe it's a podcast. Bare minimum one a week, which is very doable, I believe. And then meal planning. Weekly meal planning. I'm not the best at this because I think I'll be doing better in 2025 because last year was the first full year that I was in a home instead of renting. I had a dog and I was working in the office full time. And I just had, before that, if I wasn't going to work, I wasn't going to the office every single day. So I had extra time that I was at home. And so I could do more content. I could do more cleaning. I could do more workouts. And last year I tried to keep up with all the content and with the dog and the new home that I'm trying to make my own. And there's just so much. And I was just exhausted trying to do recipes content that I didn't even want to think about meal planning for myself. The fundamental need for feeding myself, I had on a lower priority than putting out content. So this year, I'm trying to be realistic. And so meal planning, it just, knowing that I need, let's say, 4 meals for an entire week for lunches, dinners. Breakfasts are easy. It's eggs, oatmeal, smoothie, maybe yogurt. Easy. It's easy just to get the same ingredients time after time. But I literally have a list of 20 meal ideas that I could just be rotating throughout the month, and it would be relatively easy for me to add 10 more in. So I just know, or that's quite a lot. So 20, let's stick with 20 because I don't cook a new meal every single day. 20 recipes on rotation, and it's not that difficult, but mentally I was exhausted. So I think this year, especially going into the monthly standards of content, I want to do one podcast, one I'm Bringing Healthy Back podcast a month at least. That's the baseline. One vlog when I'm Bringing Healthy Back YouTube channel a month. And that's easy because that's just documenting. And for the I'm Bringing Healthy Back podcast, it's me just talking about my thoughts and ideas and opinions on health and wellness and healthy body image and disordered eating recovery. And I'm not an expert and I'm not doing a bunch of research, and they're not necessarily super long podcasts. I think this one will be a little bit longer. But if it's just a 5-minute podcast encouraging you, 5 minutes is good. And maybe you want more, but realistically, I still have a full-time job and I have other responsibilities, and I want to get content out. I have 2 YouTube channels. There's a lot. I have a lot on my plate. And like I said, maybe I have more on my plate than I need, but I bought 20 minutes back a day with my little robot vacuum. And so we're working on it. We're just trying to be consistent. So it's not like I go 3 months without putting out a podcast because I've done 12 recipes, where I'd rather do 6 recipes and still get out a podcast on a regular basis for you guys. So with consistency is, I want to consistently spend less time on my phone doom scrolling. Guys, it's bad. Like, I sometimes literally start getting motion sickness doom scrolling, and that's when I know it's real bad. That's when I'm like determined to find the perfect beanie with the perfect pom on top, and it's like, chill out, it's fine. It's obviously not important. It's not life or death, and it's not really benefiting you, aka me, very much. So spending less time on my phone, and I know how beneficial it can be because this weekend I was on my phone so little, and Saturday I was so productive. Usually my Saturdays I try to do everything. I try to film my content, I try to clean the whole house, I try to run errands, I try to go to the gym, I try to have relaxy time for myself, and it does not happen. But this weekend, guys, lo and behold, I was like, okay, Rachel, we are going to be intentional. You can go on your phone. It's not an all or nothing thing here, but only for a few minutes, okay? Only for a few minutes. And so I got up, did my daily devotional, had some coffee, had a little bit of breakfast, and then I kind of didn't want to go to, I knew I wanted to go to the gym, but my flesh did not want to go to the gym because I got up a little earlier because the dog had to go to the bathroom, but it was 5:30 and I was planning to get up at 6, and I'm like, I'm not going to get any good sleep in this next half hour. And so I stayed up and I took myself to the gym, and it was good. Did I have to stop at the store? Anywho, might be missing some things. Yeah, I came home, showered, had breakfast. I did stop at the store for a handful of things right after the gym. And then I went back out and I went to the hardware store, got a gallon of paint because I'm working on painting my bedroom. And I'm like, okay, we're just going to do one wall. No all or nothing. We're going to do one wall. We're going to work on it slowly but surely. So it took 2.5 hours to move furniture, set up, tape the wall. First coat, had to take a little snack. Second coat, take the tape off, clean up, put the furniture back. And then it was 12:30? And 12:30 or 1. I'm like, I have so much time. And so I did like 4 loads of laundry. I didn't film content, but that's okay. I did that the next day. But here's the thing. I wasn't burnt out. Usually when I try to do everything on a Saturday, I'm like so worked up. I'm like, okay, I have to get everything done. And then I'm like exhausted. So I'm like trying to escape through doom scrolling. And then I waste time with that. And then the doom scrolling like burns me out mentally. So I don't have the mental energy to like go downstairs, turn the laundry over, hang up the stuff that doesn't go in the dryer, all the things. But I wasn't burnt out. I was so productive. And I'm like, I want this to be the regular thing. And so even to the point of like, you know when you put a show on or a movie and then you go on your phone? Like I want it to be the point where if I put something on to watch, I watch it. Unless I put something on the background and I'm reading a physical book. But I don't want to have the dual screens. And so I want that to be a consistent thing for me forever. Not just for this year, but we all know doom scrolling is bad. We all spend so much time on our phone, and a lot of it is not productive. Some of it is. I'm not saying the phones are a bad thing. Phones are a wonderful tool. But sometimes we just get so caught up scrolling through social media. So the next thing with consistency is tidying, being tidy. And this goes right with doing the dishes every day, clearing out the dishes in the sink. Now, last night I did not take there were dishes left in the sink because I had run the dishwasher last night and it had just finished, and you know how the stuff, I use air dry, I don't do the heated dry, so stuff was still wet. And I'm like, I'll empty it in the morning, and then I'll put the dishes in there tonight. And I did. I emptied it this morning, and I put the dishes in there tonight, and I washed the dishes that could go in the dishwasher, and it all worked out. And it just feels really good having a clean sink. And then consistency with the bathroom. That can feel like such a daunting thing. But I think for me, it's going to be breaking up. You don't have to do it all in one fell swoop. Go wash the vanity, the sink, the faucet. Then go do something else. Then clean the toilet. Then do something else. Then wash the shower. Then do something else. Just breaking it up. And that's more cleaning. But tidying. I get paper mail. And I'm like, do I need to keep these things for a record? Do I not? And you get handmade or hand-stamped Christmas cards. I'm like, these are beautiful. Probably should just throw them out. And then there's a coupon for $20 off an oil change. I'm like, okay, I need to put that on the fridge, else I'm going to forget that I even have it. And so just working through those little things. Receipts. Scan them, throw them out. Or scan them, put them in the filing cabinet instead of just letting them pile up somewhere. And so this weekend I also went through some paper piles, threw some stuff out. I just want to be better about that. Like, I don't have a messy house, and I'm really good at keeping things off the floor. But I think that there's room for improvement. And so for me personally, I want to personally improve my tidiness. And I think that's going to be a journey of learning. I can throw this out, or I can find a home for this. And that's another thing, consistently putting stuff back. Even if I'm going to be using it in an hour, or I'm going to be using it later that day, put it away and then go get it back out. It takes like 30 seconds to go get it, or 30 seconds to put it back. Just those little things to help keep my home tidy. I don't really want to flatten that cardboard box. It's literally going to take me 30 seconds to just flatten it, put it by the recycling. When I take the dog out, take the recycling with me, or take the garbage with me. Just those little things that seem so heavy to do, but when you actually do them, they're not. And then decluttering. So I did a little decluttering this weekend too. The video, if you're watching on YouTube, the video before this one goes up will have been a closet declutter that I did just before Christmas 2024. And for me, there's just a time when I'm ready to let things go. Like, I'm not super ruthless, but there are things that I've looked over in the past that I was ready to let go of this time. And that's the all or nothing mindset that I'm talking about. It's maybe you're not ready to let go of it right now, but maybe next month you look at it again and you're like, okay, yeah, I don't need that. Or throw it out or donate it, whatever it may be. And right now I have 3 straw brushes in my little sink caddy. I don't need 3. I just have one that came with a bottle brush. And then I bought some glass straws and some silicone straws, and each pack came with its own bottle brush or straw brush. I don't need 3. I just need 1. So I just need to get rid of the other 2. Just little things like that. And it's so easy in your own home, maybe it's just me, to overlook clutter. Like, you know how you get nose blind to certain smells, like the smell of your own home? You go into someone else's home, you're like, oh, that's what so-and-so's house smells like. It's like I become blind to the things in my house. I get blind to the dust on my shelves, or I get blind to this box sitting open on the counter, just because I have other things on my mind. And so just being more intentional and consistent about scanning and taking care of things and little things like that. And then the last intention for me for 2025 is I don't know if you would call it consistency, is saving more than spending. Now, I'm not saying saving more money than I'm spending, but I love personal finance. I budget, I do a weekly budget update. Like I look through all of my bank statements and credit card statements. Like I'm on top. I tell my money where to go. Okay? In the past year, ever since I bought my house, there's been like, okay, I'm no longer saving for something big right now. And in the past several months, I'm like, well, let's start putting some money aside for a new car, because I'm not in the market for a new car, but you never know when your car you might need a new car. I don't plan to get rid of my car for a very long time, but you never know. The Lord might have different plans. And so I'm not like, okay, I need to save all this money each month. It can be a little bit, but it'll add up over time. And so because I haven't been putting big chunks of money aside for a down payment on a house, I've been quite lax with just being able to spend for fun, which is not necessarily a bad thing. And it hasn't been frivolous things. I'm not a big traveler. It hasn't been traveling. It hasn't been like hordes and hordes of clothes. It hasn't been, I don't know, it hasn't been like, it's not been overconsumption. It's not been trendy things. But I've gotten to a point where I'm starting to feel like a little uncomfortable with myself. Like, you're still within your budget, you're paying your bills, you're like, everything's fine, but maybe you don't have to spend all of the extra money that hasn't been put towards the current fund. Maybe we need to create a new fund for, like, I have an emergency fund, so it's not like I'm in danger. So maybe I just need to have an intentional, like, future investment fund, because right now, like, my future looking for growth is content, like this channel, this podcast, the Recipes with Ray channel, and I'm open to other avenues of investment. So I want to still have some fun money, of course have my bills covered, but look forward. And maybe I need to sit down and think about specifically what that future investment might be, so that my mind and my actions are connected. And I'm like, this is what I'm saving for. I have a specific thing that I'm looking for. And maybe it's just growing that new car fund. And so that it's there when I need it, or if I want to use part of it for something else that I want to invest in, not fun money, but invest in something that, who knows, maybe it's a big charity donation, who knows, but just to have that there so that when an opportunity presents itself, I am ready. And so that is a mindset that I am going to be intentional about as I do my weekly and my monthly budget updates, not just this year, but going forward too. So more forward thinking, like doing a monthly budget is great, but also thinking, okay, what's coming up in the next month? What's coming up in the next year? Remembering when people's birthdays are. So you're like, okay, I can put $30 aside to get them a little present for their birthday. Little stuff like that. But those are my intentions for 2025. If I said 2024 at any point in this video, I meant 2025. Who knows? You could be watching this in a future new year and it may be applicable to you. So let me know, if you're listening on YouTube, let me know down in the comments, what is your word for 2025? What are your goals, your intentions, your hopes for the new year? I'd love to hear them, love to cheer you on. If you are listening on a podcast, I'd be grateful if you would give this podcast a follow, rate and review, good or bad, let me know. That is kind, constructive criticism. And if you would love to see more videos from me on YouTube, be sure to give me hit the subscribe button and give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it. And thank you so much for being here today.